What is up, guys? In this video we're going to generate our first obstacle. So to start, let's jump into our CC jump obstacle class. This is going to be the first obstacle that we implement. All we're going to do is we're going to create the initialization function for this, and we're just going to set a placeholder for it. So we're just going to make it a red block for now. So let's say init right here. We're going to do the super.init, call that super initializer, and we're going to say the texture for now is going to be nil. The color, we're going to say UI color.red color. And for a size, we're going to do CG size make 25 by 40. That's roughly the size of the texture that we're going to use in the future. As always, it's going to give us this error, so you can just click this red button and insert that required function right there. And let's jump into our CC obstacle class next. So now that we have our CC jump obstacle, we have like the basics for it. We can actually create the function that's going to start this obstacle moving to the left. So the reason we have these in two different classes is the CC obstacle is going to be the umbrella class that encompasses every obstacle type that we have. So the reason for this is because the way our obstacles move, every single obstacle type moves at the same speed and in the same way. So it's the same behavior. So the reason we want to superclass that is because we don't want to have to write that function 3 different times. Because that way when we go back into the code and we want to change things, we don't have to change it in 3 different places. So here let's write we're just going to call this the start function. And all this is going to do, it's going to assign a move left action .move by x. Now right here we're going to have to actually jump into a different file because we need to find a way to standardize how our obstacles are moving and how our ground is moving. We have to synchronize those two so they don't get out of whack and like make the game look weird. So let's create a constants file before we actually complete this skaction constructor right here. So we can just do command N Coco class. This is going to be a constants file. You can say subclass of NS object. That's not really even necessary. It doesn't matter what the subclass is because we're just going to end up deleting this right here. So just take out the class. This isn't going to be a class. All this is going to be is a file that contains constants that can be used throughout our program. So you can just do import UI kit there. So right here, we're going to create a constant that's going to define our default speed. So I'm going to say like k default speed, which is going to be of type CG float, because we're going to define it as the number of points that something moves every single second. So a good number for this, I had it over here, is going to be 140. And a quick comment, you can say just points per second. And that's how we're going to define it. Now, if we hop back into our CC obstacle class, now you'll notice we can use this constant now. So I'm going to say minus k default speed. There it is. For the y value, we don't want it to move up or down, obviously. And the duration is going to be 1 second. Just because this k default speed, that's how we're going to define it throughout our program. So after this, we just need to run this action, and we need to repeat it forever. So we're going to say run action, skaction.repeat action forever, move left. So hopefully some of this stuff is getting a little bit more natural to you. I know it's a lot of stuff that you need to kind of cram into your head, but you end up using it so much that it just becomes second nature. So awesome, that's going to be our start function. Last but not least, we actually have to place the obstacles within our obstacle generator, and we need to start them. So this generate random obstacle method, when it's fully implemented, is going to call one of 3 different methods. Also, I'm interchanging the words method and function. It is always function. That's like the official term, but function and method, generally people will understand what you're talking about. And that's just one of these guys. So let's create the outline of these. So we can say generate jump obstacle, generate attack obstacle. So these are the three different methods that are going to be possibly called by this generate random obstacle method. And func generates slide obstacle. So for now, because we're just implementing the jump obstacle, right in here, let's just say, we can delete this print statement, and we can say generate jump obstacle. So all this is going to do is, it's just going to run the behavior that we implement in just a second. So for our jump obstacle, now we need to create the obstacle. So I'm going to say let obstacle equals cc jump obstacle. And remember, we had that initialization function, so if we just put those parentheses right there, it's going to do that. And now we're going to set the position, so we're going to say obstacle.position equals cg.make. For our jump obstacles, we want the jump obstacles to be in the bottom right corner, just outside of our generation window. So to do that, we're going to say frame.size.width over 2, because remember, the position by default is at the center. And we're going to say that, then we're going to say plus the obstacle.frame.size.width over 2. So what this is going to do is it's just going to move the obstacle just outside that window, the square of that generator, the blue block. And then for the height, we're going to say minus frame.size.height over 2 plus obstacle.frame.height. Obstacle.frame.height over 2. This is because, so this should position it just in that bottom right corner there. So now we can add this obstacle to our generator. And last but not least, we can start it. Okay, so I know that was a lot, but this should be pretty cool. Let's try running this. Okay, so if we click, awesome. It looks like our generator is generating these obstacles. So in the next video, we'll actually synchronize this ground and the obstacles, and we'll probably implement another obstacle type as well.